Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. In today's class, you can optionally use a pair of light weights. I have 2 pounds, anything 5 or under would be perfect. You can also skip the weights altogether. This class is a class for runners, or if you walk, this is a class for you, so a class for everybody. We're going to focus a bit on single leg, a little bit of instability and balance, as well as upper back and core strength. And we will get started in just a second. Just standing up nice and tall and make sure you're at the back so you have plenty of room in front of you. And you can just bring your hands onto your hips. And then just shift your weight forward into your toes, maybe your heels pick up a little. And then if you can see yourself or just check in, notice how you're standing. If I look at myself, I can see myself in the camera. I am really far forward with my hips, so I'm going to pull my hips under and feel my weight kind of shift back to be centered on my feet. And then from here, I'm just going to come up onto my tiptoes, thinking about reaching forward with my ankles, and then slowly resist back down. And then again, paying attention to your weight shift. Knees are soft as you go up, reaching forward with the ankles, and then resist to come back down. One more time. Think about the crown of your head going straight up towards the ceiling, and then slowly lower down. And then nod your chin and round all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Let your knees bend a bunch. And then walk yourself out into a plank and drop your knees nice and wide and sit back into a child's pose here. Take a big inhale and feel your ribs expand up towards the ceiling and then wide to each side. And then relax. As you exhale, think about melting a little closer to the floor. And then again, inhale. Feel that expansion and exhale. Melt towards the ground. One more time. And then shift your weight forward onto all fours. You can have your weights nearby. We're going to use them in a moment or two. And again, if you don't have them, no worries, you can do this without. So to start, you're just going to be in a nice tabletop position. Think nice and neutral. Really press the floor away with your hands. And then keep pressing the floor away and send your shoulder blades away from your spine. So you may have a slightly rounded upper back. And then let your shoulder blades slide in towards your spine. Low back, mid back, stay still. And then press into the floor, find that space across the upper back, and then slide the shoulder blades in, sternum drop slightly, keep reaching your head away from you, and then press up, and then lower down, and lift, and lower down. 2 more. Last one. And then put all the weight into your right hand. Go ahead and grab your shoulder blade with your left hand, and if you can't reach all the way to your shoulder blade, grabbing onto your ribs would be fine. And from here, you're going to do the same thing. So feel that shoulder blade slide in, and then feel it press away. And then slide down. You bring your knees a little bit wider if you feel unstable here. Press up and down and up. 4 more. Really feel that separation from the scapula to the spine. 2. And last one. And then place that left hand down. Same thing, right arm reaches under. If you find that you're tighter on one side than the other, maybe you don't reach quite as much. Start in that nice neutral spine. And then sink down, feel that shoulder blade slide in. And then as you press up, feel it drop into your hand and slide away from your spine. And then drop down and lift. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. And press up, bring that right hand down. Feel your whole hand pressing onto the mat. And then from here, tuck the tailbone under, round the spine up towards the ceiling, drop the head, take a nice stretch. And then find your nice length through the front of your body coming into extension. Think about widening your sitting bones and lengthening your collarbone forward. One more time, round up towards the ceiling. And lengthen down. And then pause in a nice neutral spine. Reaching your left leg back behind you, your right arm in front of you. Rotate your thumb to face the ceiling, and you're going to float your right arm and left leg up. And just hold here, taking a nice big inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths, just holding here. 1 more. Reaching the crown of your head forward. Thumb reaches up. And then from here, bend your arm and leg underneath you, and then extend long. And then bend them underneath, and extend. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Pause and hold here for 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower your arm down, lower your leg down, and we're going to switch sides. So reach your left leg, or right leg rather, left hand, thumb up towards the ceiling, reach and lift. You can flex your foot, you can point your foot, you can have it somewhere in between. Just make sure that you're really thinking about lifting from the back for both your arm and your leg. Your hamstring, your glute is doing the work. You're not thinking about lifting from the foot. Breathing here. 1 more breath in. And then bend underneath you. The knee and elbow don't need to touch. And then reach. And then bend it in. And reach. Staying nice and steady. Hips stay square towards the floor. Chest is square as well. Gaze is straight down or slightly ahead of your fingertips. 2. Last one. Reach, hold for a second. And then lower everything all the way down. Coming onto your left hip, you're going to grab one of your weights. You're going to have your left forearm underneath you, and then notice if that arm wants to slide away from you, thinking about pulling it underneath you, connecting through the underside of your body towards that hip. And you're just going to take your weight in your right hand, lift it up towards the ceiling, straight over your shoulder, and then bend it until it's just above your hip. Check in with your side, you're not slouching down, and then reach that arm straight up, and then pull it back in. And lift it up, and back in. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, leave it lifted. Reach the arm forward in front of you so it comes parallel to the floor, and then reach it back up, open it just in line with your shoulder, or within your periphery would be great. And then open back up. Paying attention to how your shoulder blade feels on your spine, similar essentially to the scapular push-ups we did a few minutes ago. And reach it down. And lift. 4 more. 3, and up. 2. Check in on that bottom arm and bottom side of your body. Make sure you haven't started slouching. Last one, leave it lifted. Bend the elbow down and then reach it straight back up for 8. 7, moving nice and slow, especially if you don't have that weight. And even if you do, trying to make your arm as heavy as possible. So creating resistance by slowing it down as you both lift and lower. 2 more. Neck is nice and loose. You're not holding a lot of tension. Last one. And then lower that arm all the way down. Drop your weight. And then staying on your forearm, you're just going to open your leg up into a clamshell and resist to bring it back down. Heels are in line with your butt. Hips are more or less facing forward. They're not rocking open as you lift your knee. and resist back down. And open and down. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. And then from here, you're gonna press down into the floor, lift your hips, open your knees, and then resist back down. Hand can be on your hip or up tall and down. You can also bring it behind your head if you prefer. Really reaching that left forearm towards your hip to make sure that you're not drooping down through that left side. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. And lower all the way down, sitting up onto your left hip. You're gonna send your right foot back and your left foot forward. And then here, 90-90-ish, does not need to be perfect. You're just gonna side bend up and over to the left. Thinking about resisting and reaching down with that right sitting bone. If it's not touching the floor, that's totally fine. Mine does not. And then side bend up and over towards the right. And then back over to the left. Again, creating resistance and length through that right side as you reach with those right fingertips. Over to the right one more time. Back to the left. And right. Good, sitting up nice and tall here. You can bring your hands one on top of the other as though you're I Dream of Jeannie, or you can make a circle, or you can hold onto your chest. Doesn't matter, but either way, you're just gonna think about rotating in towards that right leg and then open out towards your left. Rotate to the right, and then on your exhale or inhale, whichever breath makes more sense, opening up and rotating in that opposite direction. You more than likely feel the ability to rotate much more to the right than to the left. Thinking about getting a nice stretch through that right side. Good, and then from here, come back to the center. Reach forward out in front of you over the diagonal of your left knee. And then you can come down onto one forearm or both. You can be slightly open if that's more comfortable. And you're gonna float your right leg up and then lower it down. And float it up and lower it down. Again, you can be up tall if this is more comfortable. You have a few options here. For 4, 3, 2, last one, keep it lifted. Send it forward and then send it back. And forward and back. Forward and back. 3 more. 2. And last one. And then lower that leg all the way down back behind you. Come down onto your forearms if you're not there already. And then just rotate your torso towards the front. You can also slide more to be in line with that shin. Just getting a nice stretch now through the glute on that left side. 1 or 2 more breaths here. Last one. And then come all the way up. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake. And then bring them about hip distance or slightly wider hip shoulder distance, somewhere there. Reach your arms straight out in front of you and then think that you are leaning against a wall. From here, nod your chin and peel forward off of that wall so that everything except your low back leaves the wall. And then you're gonna peel yourself back up 1 vertebrae at a time to stack tall back against that wall. First thing to leave is the head. The upper back, the mid back, the low back stays reaching back. And then peel yourself back up 1 vertebrae at a time. Last one. Ears between the biceps. And back up. And we're gonna switch sides. So take your weight with you. and come onto your right side, right forearm. Check in with that forearm. Think about it pulling underneath you, and then grab onto your weight, lift it straight up in line with your shoulder. Slightly in front of your shoulder, make sure it hasn't fallen back. You don't want your chest puffing forward here. And then you're just gonna slowly lower that arm, elbow bends in, and then press the arm back up towards the ceiling. And resist it back down. And up. Working a bit here on posture muscles in the upper and mid back to help keep you upright and not feel like you're going to fall forward, especially if you're running. You need strong arms and upper body to help propel you forward. And for walking, it's the same. Also life in general. 2 more, and then we're going to go into the lower in front of us. So pause with this arm tall, and then resist it down just in line, parallel to the floor, and then resist it back up. And back down. And again, make sure you're not letting this arm fall back behind you as you open. You're better off reducing the range of motion in terms of how far you're lifting up. And just check in on your neck, make sure you're not holding a ton of tension there. You can always turn your gaze to look down at your forearm or up towards the ceiling. Just make sure you're not looking down at your knees or back behind you. 5 more. And lift up. It's amazing how such a tiny move with so little or no weight becomes so challenging. 2 more. Last one. All the way down, all the way back up, and then bend the elbow. We have 8 more here. Press up and resist back down. And up. And down. 5 more. Check in on that right side. Make sure you're nice and supported. You haven't started slouching to the ground like this. Our right arm's got to work too. 3, 2. I have a piece of hair on my face and it's driving me crazy. Last one, lower all the way down, lower that weight. And then from here, we're going to go, there we go, I finally found it. Okay. We're going to go into those little clam shells. So again, check in, make sure that bottom arm is drawing in towards your hip, connecting through the under right side, and then lift up into your clamshell and lower back down. Feet stay connected. And resist. And lift. And resist. Four more. And then we'll move on into those planks. 2. And last one. All right. So from here, you're going to press up into that side plank as you open that top leg. Arm can be tall, long, reaching ahead of you, on your hip, behind your head. Just if it's behind your head, make sure you're not pulling your head forward. Press down through the lower leg as you externally rotate the top leg and resist back down. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Good, and then lower down, press yourself all the way up. And then from here, you're gonna separate your legs. So your right leg's gonna come forward, your left leg back. We're just gonna start with the nice side bends before we move on to a little bit more glute. So side bend up and over towards the right. Really reach through those fingertips and then come up and over in the other direction. Woo. 2 more to each side. Again, think about that connection between the left sitting bone and the floor here. and down. Last one to the left. And then genie arms, arms out, your choice. Rotate towards the left. Maybe feel that left sitting bone drop a little. And then rotate up and over towards the right. You can almost think about lifting out of that right hip as you rotate, and then back to the left. Try to keep that front leg nice and relaxed. Same with your shoulders. Don't let them creep up. Just let them find their nice natural place on your spine. 3 more. 2. And last one. And back. Good. From here, reach out on that diagonal. Again, you can be hands, forearms, or right forearm down, left hand up, your choice. You're just going to start with lifting that leg off the floor and back down. And lift and lower. You can adjust the distance of your leg from your body if you need. The wall in my way a little bit here. There we go. 4 more. 3. Try to relax that right foot as much as possible. 2. Last one, pick it up, sweep it forward and back. And forward and back. Trying to keep it at the same height the whole time. 4 or 5 more. We'll do 4 more now. 3, 2, last one. Good, and then lower it all the way down. I'm gonna walk until I'm square, or perpendicular rather, to my front shin. Either way, wherever you are, just round forward or lengthen, whichever feels better, to get a nice stretch through your now right glute. 1 more breath. And then coming all the way up, send your legs back together and come onto your stomach. You can move your weight out of the way. We will use it again in a few minutes. And just bring your arms out in front of you. Do a nice V position. They're slightly wider than your shoulders. And you just want to take a nice big inhale. You can rest one of your cheeks on the floor or your forehead, your choice. Take a big inhale. And then exhale. Think about melting down to the floor. Feel your chest drop. Maybe your armpits drop. Maybe you feel like you have a little bit more length in those lats to reach your fingertips a tiny bit farther forward. And then take one more big inhale. And then exhale, bring your chin, or rather your forehead towards the floor, nose to hover. From here, think about dragging the heels of your hands towards your body as you float your chest up. Feel your hips settle on the ground. And again, like if I were to pull even harder, I would start to move, just lifting through that upper back. And then lower all the way down, think about pushing the hands away from you. Relax the shoulders. And then again, draw the palms in and back as you lift. Arms can stay lifted off the ground. Let the hips settle. Try to find a little extra length. And then lower all the way back down. From here, bend the arms and place the forearms parallel to one another. Your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Pull the elbows in. And then let your hips settle again on the floor. And then think about like peeling your belly off the ground as you find yourself in a little bit of a Sphinx pose here. And then from here, you're just gonna look to the right, nod your chin, look down towards the floor, towards your chest, up and over that left shoulder, and then back down. Keep pressing the floor away. One more time here to the right, or to the left rather. Staying in this extension. And then look to the center. From here, think about looking from the edge of your mat. And then think about increasing your extension almost by following the wall, looking down the edge of your nose, but starting to point your nose up towards the wall in front of you, and just see how that little change of your head moves that stretch up your back. And then looking down. Press the floor away. One more time, same thing. And then lower all the way back down. Make a pillow for your head. Shake your shoulders, shake your head, shake your hips. Whatever feels nice. And then let yourself settle for 1 second on the floor before we roll over. Good. From here, you're going to turn onto your back. And you can take your weights here, optional, if you'd like them. We're going to do a bit of bridging. So I will provide those options for you. So laying all the way down on the floor, make sure that your head is firmly planted on the ground. I'm going to move my hair out of the way. And from here, just make cactus arms. So your elbows are bent in line with your shoulder and your elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. So you have another little 90-90 here. Just take a big inhale. And exhale, settle onto the floor. Reach your right arm overhead and just notice how far it wants to go, how far maybe it doesn't want to go, and then slide it back to be in that cactus position. Same thing on that left side. And then come back down. And then bring your left hand towards your right ribs, like right at the armpit, or the more down on the ribs, your choice. And then you're just going to reach your right arm all the way overhead. As long as this doesn't hurt, bring it out to the side. Find a place where it can just sort of relax overhead. Take a big inhale and really think about breathing into that left hand. And exhale. Again. And exhale. And then slide your hand a little higher. Trying to increase that lateral breath. Find a little bit of space through that rib cage. And also just stretch those muscles in between your ribs. One or two more breaths here. Last one. Really try to visualize breathing into that hand. All right. Bring that right arm back to cactus. Bring your left arm back to cactus. Check in, feel the difference between your right and left side. Maybe your ribs have settled more on the mat. Maybe you have a little bit more space across the front of your chest. And now you're just going to do the same thing, reaching that right arm overhead and then resist it back in. One more time, getting a little stretch, maybe through the pec, through the armpit. Lengthen and bring it back in. Now just check in with that left side so you remember how that felt. And obviously we'll switch and do the other side in a second. And up. Good. Back in. Grab onto your left ribs with your right hand. Left arm goes overhead. And again, 5 to 10 breaths at your own pace. Really focusing on breathing into that hand. Try to visualize your breath. Going into your palm, separating your fingers from one another from the expansion. Maybe you're a little better at doing this on one side than the other. Two more breaths. Last one. Come back to that cactus. Last time. Now reach both arms overhead together and then pull them back in. And then from here, rotate your palms the other direction and just bring them by your sides. Feeling and keeping that spaciousness across your rib cage and your shoulder blades being really flush to the mat now. Press your feet down into the floor, curl the tailbone under, feel the ribs come up towards your hips, and then you're just gonna peel yourself up into a nice bridge here. Shoulders stay on the ground. Take a big inhale. Exhale, peel yourself back down. We're gonna do one more like this. Good, pause here. Now, just drop the hips a few inches and reach them back up. Thinking about lengthening from your knees, reaching them forward to lift your hips as though your femurs are a fulcrum, I think would be the correct word. And lift. And lower. 4 more. 3. We're going to pause at the top. 2. Last one. Should you choose, you're going to take your weights and you're going to place them on your hips, like right in the hip crease. And you're going to lift your right leg up into tabletop, and then you're going to lower your right leg down. And you're going to lift your left leg. Alternating this march here. The weight just gives you a little extra to hold up in the air in this bridge, focusing on your stability, the width across the front and back of your chest. You want to be nice and spacious. One more time each side like this. Lift the right leg up. Lower the hips and lift. Take your right weight off if you have it. So you're just having the weight on that left hip for 6, 5. Knees are staying nice and parallel, in line with the hips, in line with the toes. 2. Last one, lower that right leg down. Lift the left leg. Weight comes to the right side, removes from the left. Dip the hips for 10 and lift. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, last one. Lift, lower down, take that weight off, curl the tailbone under as much as you possibly can as you peel yourself all the way down to the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Gently rock back and forth from one side to the other, and then rock yourself up to sit tall. You're going to come to stand. You're going to bring your weights with you. You can stand up more gracefully than I did if you'd like to. And then we're going to do a little bit of balancing here. So find yourself nice and centered on your feet, just like we did in the beginning of class. Make sure your hips are not forward. Take them back underneath you. You're going to crease at the right hip, and you're going to bend that leg into tabletop. You can bring your weights out in front of you like so, or you can just hold them here with your upper arm by your side. You're going to lower that leg to the ground and resist to bring it back up. And lower down, tap your toe in front, and then hinge the hip and the knee to bring it back up. And down, and up. 3 more. 2. Thinking about not lowering, but letting that sitting bone reach towards the floor as you lift. Last one, pause here. Holding here. And you're going to open your arms out to the side and resist back in. And out to the side and back in. If you need to, lower your toe to the ground, but 90% of your weight in that left leg. 3, resisting out, and then again as you come in, externally rotating that upper arm, and then bring it back to parallel for 3, 2, last one. Bring both weights into your left hand, right hand to your hip, And then you're just gonna keep that leg bent as you reach down towards the floor, lifting up that back leg, and then come back into tabletop. Left arm stays by your side. So hinge at the hip, reaching down, hips are square, chest is square. Bring that leg back to tabletop. 6 more. Woo. And back up. Drop the weights if you would like. Hold on to a wall. Reduce your range of motion. You can also do this with your back toes on the ground. Again, 90% of the weight in that left foot, keeping that left leg straight, just going down and back up. Move 1 more and all the way up. And then lower your legs down, shake them out. And we're gonna do this again now on the other side. So arms by your side or straight out in front of you. Either way, we're gonna need to be in this 90 position. You're gonna bring your left leg up to tabletop, and you're just gonna tap it down in front of you and resist to bring it up. Tap it down and bring it up. Check in with your hips, make sure your weight hasn't shifted all the way over to one side and you're in like a little arrow with your body. Top of an arrow, front of an arrow, whatever. 3 more. 2. Last one, pause at the top and then open out and resist back in. And I need to plug the computer in so that it doesn't die. 1 second, forgot. You can keep going. All right, crisis averted. From here. 4 more. 3, external rotation, resist back in. 2, last one. Now bring the weights into your right hand. Move. Have that hand down by your shoulder or down by your side, and then reach it down towards the floor as you send that left leg back. Chest is nice and tall, as in you are not rounding, you're keeping a nice flat back. Hold on to the wall if you need, and lower back down. Really focusing on hinging around that standing leg, hips are square. And again, you can always drop your left toes back behind you, taking this into a more stable version, or be like me and hold on to the wall. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. And then from here, lower that leg down, shake your legs out, place the weights down, and you're gonna stand with your legs about hip distance, maybe a tiny bit wider. From here, you're gonna shift your weight into your right leg, and you're just gonna shift it all the way into that right leg until you can float that left leg up. Hold it for a second, lower it down. Shift over to the left, float that right leg off. Lower it down and shift over. Lift. And lift. 4 more. 3. 4 total, not 4 each side. 2. Last one. And lower all the way down. Come back to the back of your mat. Nod your chin, bend your knees, round all the way forward. From here, walk yourself out to a nice plank. Drop your knees to the ground. Tailbone is gently tucked under, using your whole hand and your nice supported shoulder blades. You're gonna bend your elbows back by your sides and you're gonna lower down for 3, 2, 1, press up. And again, lower down for 3, 2, 1, press back up. 3, 2, 1, up. 2 more. 3, 2, 1, back up. Last one, 3, 2, 1, and up. Curl your toes under and press yourself back into a down dog. Hips are lifted, knees can be bent, but try to send those heels towards the floor. Shake your head and neck out, and then drop your knees, come back to your kneeling plank position. You're gonna press down, and then 1, 2, 3 to come back up. So we're reversing. So 1 down, 3, 2, 1 to press the floor away. 4 more. Down, 3, 2, 1, and down. Up. 2 more. Down, 3, 2, 1. Too many numbers, it's hard. Last one, 3, 2, 1. Same thing, curl the toes under. Send the hips back behind you. Shake the head out. And then come into a full plank position, should you choose, or back to your knees. We have 6 regular push-ups to end the working hard. For 6, 5, 4, press the floor away. Exhale the floor away. 3, 2, and last one. And now come into a child's pose for just a second, and then we're gonna come into a down dog. Relax your shoulders. Take a few nice slow inhales and exhales. Bring your heart rate down if it went up with those push-ups. And then come forward, find your down dog. And then bring your right leg forward. Back leg is bent. Fold your mat over if you need. From here, you're just gonna tuck your tailbone under. So you start to maybe feel a little bit of stretch in that left thigh. And then staying up tall, all you're gonna do here, keep that tuck, nod your chin. Think about length, don't just drop it. Really thinking about rounding your head forward and feeling the increase of that stretch. And then look straight ahead. And again, round. Like you're gonna start to round your whole spine, but just that upper spine is moving. And up tall. Reach that left arm up towards the ceiling as high as you can, and then fall over to the right. You can reach your right arm down towards the floor, or you can even reach it back towards your heel and twist yourself open towards the right. Either way, come back to the center. Last time, reaching a little bit more to that right, and come all the way back, switching sides. So left foot forward, up nice and tall to start. Tuck the tailbone under. Feel the draw back of that left heel, right knee forward to find that connection. Up nice and tall, and then just nod your head. Hold on to something if you need for stability, and then look straight ahead. And then nod your chin. Finding that little increased stretch, really thinking about tucking that tailbone under. Last one. Reach the left arm or right arm up and side bend up and over to the left side. Reach the left fingertips towards the floor. You can keep your hand on your thigh, whatever feels good. And then if you'd like, reach your left fingertips towards your right toes. Open up towards that left side. You can round and lean back a little. Arch, not round. And then come back to the center. One last side bend to the left. And then bring your right foot forward. Last thing, sit down into a squat as low as you can, keeping your chest nice and lifted. Shift back and forth from one side to the other, trying to get those heels onto the ground. And then press your hands into the floor. Round yourself. Walk your feet in underneath you. Keep those knees bent. Curl your spine up one vertebrae at a time. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and then let them fall down by your sides, and you are all finished. Thanks.